aftermath, the start of the outbreak, more daily cases than ever before, the 7-day average of 83%, 53 lives have been lost. Dr.
Higher numbers of people are in mental health crisis and thinking about suicide alongside the pandemic.
A healthy environment is essential for our healthy living. The more you don't care about your environment, the more it will become polluted with contaminants and toxins that have a harmful impact on our health.
More than 12 million people around the world die every year because they live and work in a healthy environment.
We depend on the environment for energy and the materials needed to sustain life, such as clean air, safe drinking water, and nutritious food.
Environmental pollutants can cause health problems.
Tracking environmental pollutants
is key to figuring out
where and how people are exposed.
Laws and policies
to reduce different types of pollution
can also help prevent many serious health problems and death.
A good planet is hard to find.
Join hands to save environment.
Time for nature.
Good day everyone, so today we are your discussant about the environmental health. So when we talk about environmental health, it talks about the branch of public health that focuses on the relationships between people and their environment. It also promotes human health and well-being and fosters healthy and safe communities. Environmental health is the key part of a comprehensive public health system. The field of policies and programs to reduce chemical and other environmental exposures in the air, water, soil, and food to protect people and provide communities with healthier environments. Many communities lack access to nutritious, affordable food, are denied safe places to walk and exercise, or live near polluting factories. The health risks for these families are greater. We support research and action to help ensure healthy environments for all. So what is the vital role of environmental health? So it is evident that environmental health practitioners play an important role in disease surveillance, prevention, and control associated with meat safety, vectors and vermin, food safety, environmental pollution, and water sanitation and hygiene with relate to One Health. Personal, community, environmental health and safety education plus first aid is a personal health application or electronic tool storing, managing, and sharing health information, illness, and wellness by an individual is in a secure of confidential environment. As we all know that PHA are tools and services in medical informatics which utilizes information technologies to aid individuals to create their own personal health information. These next-generation consumer-centric information systems help improve healthcare delivery, self-management, and wellness by providing clear and complete information which increases understanding, competence, and awareness. So personal health applications are part of the Medicine 2.0 movement. Most people do not carry medical records when they leave home. They do not realize that in an emergency, these medical records can make a big difference. Additionally, it is hard to predict when an emergency might occur. In fact, they could save a life. Previous medications, history of allergy of medications, and other significant medical or surgical history can help a health professional through PHA tools to optimize treatment. A personal health application or PHA tool contains a patient's personal data. It also includes a patient's diagnosis or health condition and details about the various treatment or assessments delivered by health professionals during an episode of care from a healthcare provider. It contains an individual's health-related information accumulated during an entire lifetime.
Personal health and wellness. Health Education Service believe that optimal overall wellness is all aspects of life, emotional, intellectual, social, spiritual, and physical, is key to success in college and beyond. So, emotional. Emotional wellness is a dimension that involves being fully in touch with feelings and emotion regarding yourself and others. Developing self-confidence, love, and trust for others are key aspects that help to define emotional wellness. So since our reports should be related to COVID-19, let's take a glimpse of the emotion that are affected since the pandemic commenced. So first on our list is the anxiety. Anxiety is a normal reaction to stress. So since the pandemic start, many students many people are experiencing this, especially those students who are taking online classes because of too much pressure to them. So next on our list is depression. Depression is a mood disorder that involves a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest. So familiar tayo lahat sa depression and one of the example or the cause of depression is the family problem. And since the COVID-19 started, so maraming pamilya ang nahihirapan dahil maraming tao ang nawalan ng trabaho due to COVID-19. So, maari yung pagmula ng depressed dahil siguro wala na silang pangkain or wala na silang pambili ng mga gamit. So, next on our list is the post-traumatic stress disorder or the PTSD. Is a mental health condition that is triggered by a terrifying event, either experiencing it or witnessing it. So, ang mga naka-experience siguro nito or affected is ang mga na positive sa COVID-19. Siguro nagkaroon sila ng PTSD dahil siguro sa pagkakaroon ng COVID-19. Lastly is stress. Stress is our body response to pressure. So, most commonly ang nakaka-experience ng stress is ang mga tao maraming ginagawa. Like, for example, as ang college student, due to COVID-19, so ginagawa natin ang pag-aaral towards online classes. So, maraming activity ang nakatambak. So, maaari yun siyang mag-cause ng stress sa isang tao. Dahil na rin sa pressure or sa dami ng mga activity binibigay ng mga teacher or professor. Intellectual. This aspect of wellness refers to development of mind as an instrument for decision making as well as learning and interpreting experience. It involves critical thinking, curiosity, and creativity. So when we talk about intellectual, ito ay ang ating mental health. So ano ba ang naapektuhan ng COVID sa ating mental health? First on our list is the bereavement. Bereavement is the action or condition of being bereaved. It is similar to losing some or something. So, for example na lang isang mga namatayan dahil sa COVID-19. Siguro naka-experience sila ng bereavement since nawalan sila ng pamilya or kaibigan dahil sa COVID-19 or COVID. Next is the isolation. Isolation is the process or fact of isolating or being isolated. Siguro ang mga pwede nating i-relate dito towards COVID is yung mga positive sa COVID-19, di ba? Na-isolate sila para hindi na or ini-isolate sila para hindi na maikalat ang nakuha nilang sakit. So there's chances na mag-isa lang sila which is maaring maging cause ng mental health problem dahil wala nga silang kausap dahil bawal silang makisalamuha sa ibang tao. So next on our list is the fear. Fear are triggering mental health conditions. So 'di ba dahil nga sa COVID natatakot tayo. So there's a high chances na maaring maapektuhan ng takot yung pag-iisip natin. So, maaari tayong maging praning dahil sa COVID. Dahil nga dangerous masyado ang COVID. So, there's a high chances na maging obsessed tayo para mailigtas ang sarili natin or ang pamilya natin. So, lastly is that many people may be facing increased level of alcohol and drug use, insomnia, and anxiety. So, dahil nga na home quarantine tayo, so may high chances na yung mga example na ay yung mga kalalakihan is ma-expose sila sa pag-inom dahil nga wala na silang trabaho, dahil nga sa COVID, maraming natatanggalan ng trabaho. So, there's high chances na lunurin nila yung sarili na sa alcohol and drugs.
So, social wellness refers to the idea of being able to develop meaningful interpersonal relationships. It also involves being able to maneuver through various social situations while appreciating the similarities and differences between people. So, what does it mean when we say social aspect of life? It is all about our social relations, it's about our mutual dealings, our connections, our communications among persons or groups, in or any relationships between two or more individuals. So as humans, social interaction is essential to every aspect of our health. Research shows that having a strong network of support or strong community bonds fosters both emotional and physical health and is an important component of our lives. A person's social life consists of the various bonds they form with others, such as our family, our friends, our members, and even strangers. It can be measured by the duration and quality of the social interactions we have on a regular basis. So, both in person and online, since we are currently in a pandemic. So, being healthy means being open to accept and appreciate others' language, customs, values, norms, mores, rules, tools, technologies, products, organizations, and institutions. So now, let us talk about the spiritual aspect. So, spiritual wellness revolves around the development of your own personal belief system and adherence to that belief system. Seeking purpose and meaning in life, whatever your beliefs, while appreciating the various religious perspectives of other people is a key aspect of spiritual wellness. So, spiritual wellness means achieving harmony with one's surroundings and balancing one's personal needs with the needs of others. Harmony with others' surroundings is achieved when one's actions and intentions align agreeably with the environment to the benefit of all within it. Since the start of this pandemic, a lot of people has been added to the list of those diagnosed with mental health sickness, depressions, anxiety attacks, overthinkings, too much emotions, and overwhelming happenings are everywhere. And today, since we are still in a pandemic, thus it is a must that we keep our faith strong and steady. Let us hold on to the promises of the one who created us all. Let us help each other and seek His greatness. Let us live our lives according to His heavenly purpose so that other people may see the light in us. If you live with the presence of goodness and kindness in your heart, you will feel a higher sense of purpose, peace, hope, and meaning. You will experience better confidence, self-esteem, and self-control. It can help you make sense of your experiences in life. And whenever you are unwell, it can help you feel inner strength and result in a faster recovery as long as you believe and keep your faith firm. And for the last one, our physical aspect. So this is perhaps the most well-known category, and it includes a personal attention to and maintenance of overall health through nutrition, physical activity, sleep, and positive healthy habits to maintain a healthy quality of life. So, physical wellness is the ability to take charge of your health by making conscious decisions to be healthy. Our physical wellness is our ability to maintain a healthy quality of life, and it allows us to get through our daily activities without undue fatigue and physical stress. It also promotes proper care of our bodies for optimal health and functioning. So keeping our physical bodies healthy helps us shape our minds into a more healthier one. Just like in the case of our today's biggest dilemma, the pandemic, having a stagnant life every day will make you suffer from your thoughts and will bring you to a point where you will feel none but sadness, emptiness, and sometimes worthlessness. So to avoid a stagnant life and prevent mental and physical health sickness and problems, move your body every day in any way you want. Embrace, understand, be gentle, and love yourself.
Personal health practices and coping skills refers to those actions by which individuals can prevent diseases and promote self-care. cope with challenges and develop self-reliance, solve problems, and make choices that enhance health. So by promoting and prioritizing self-care has to be every individual's topmost main concern. Making choices determines what your life will be the days and years after making those choices. Self-care is not a thing for some people, but in fact it should be. Putting your health first among anything in this world is an excellent skill and the best practice for coping in this world, especially nowadays that there is a pandemic. So financing and not putting your health at risk is the best way of enhancing your overall wellness in your life as a whole. Definitions of lifestyle include not only individual choices but also the influence of social, economic, and environmental factors on decisions people make about their health. So there is growing recognition that personal life choices are greatly influenced by the socio-economic environments in which people live, learn, work, and play. So life is fun and good, but not without money, and that's a fact. People may say that money can't buy happiness. Well, if that's how it works for you, then that's fine. But to face our reality, having money is having the access to almost everything that is comfortable and healthy. Our social economic status reveals our lifestyle, and our lifestyle reveals our health. I am not fantasizing when I say these things, but there are actually studies that say so. A number of recent studies show that limited option and poor coping skills for dealing with stress increase vulnerability to a range of diseases through pathways that involve the immune and hormonal systems. Even on today's issue, on the pandemic, most people that have been infected and affected were the poor, and the people who have the higher socio-economic classes have experienced this dilemma a little lighter compared to them.
So here's the list of health practices that I will be discussing with you. So let's proceed. We are interested in the regular practices that you may associate with your health, even if it is something a doctor never discussed with you. The following list contains example of regular practices a person might associate with their health, but no, there's no list that is complete. Let's start with number 1, which is eating. We should buy food more often so it is fresh. Second, preparing a sit-down meal most of the days. Third, learning the foods that our body uses the best and choosing them often. Next is spending more and expending more effort to get the food you really want rather than what's more convenient. Next, anticipating where I'll be throughout the day and bringing tasty food so I'll have it accessible. And using info about nutrition in my food choices. So let's proceed to the activity, like walking our dogs, cats, or any pets most of the days. Exploring activities you might like. Next is developing a relationship with a buddy or someone who you can work out with, and joining a gym and then using membership regularly. Next is finding a class or activity that fits your size and fitness level. Next, investing in comfortable clothing for the activity. Investing in excellent equipment for your activity. Next is investing in and then regularly using exercise equipment in your home. And develop a long menu of things I can do under different circumstances. So let's proceed to sleep, which is our favorite part of the day. So you should get enough sleep every night, which is an average of 8 hours, and investing in a good bed and pillow. Sticking with the process of getting a sleep test, pulling over and not driving when drowsy so you can avoid accident, and getting insomnia, apnea, restless leg syndrome, or other sleep problem treated, observing a regular bedtime most of the time. Next list is the medical. So, taking my medication regularly, tracking and refilling your prescriptions in time, searching for MDs who are competent and, of course, supportive, going to the doctor even though it may be difficult because of the pandemic, going to regular therapy when needed, and getting regular screening or exams like mammograms, pap smears, prostate checks, and blood test, and also getting regular dental care and vision care. So, in interpersonal negotiation, you should speak up about your own needs to others, risking rocking the boat to take care of myself, and in safety, wearing protective gear like helmet, seatbelt, sunscreen or sunglasses, and etc. whenever you are in a working place which is dangerous. And practicing risk management in the activities, also preparing the future health issues, having good friends who have the capacity to care about you, and doing activities that make you feel part of a community, and letting yourself rely on others. Do not be introverted, because that's kind of bad, and being there for others in ways that make you feel good. But remember, do not let people take you for granted. So always laugh on most of the days and become part of a community or extended family. So let us proceed to naman sa mental outlook, which is stopping yourself from denigrating thoughts, or stop yourself from overthinking and procrastinations, because it is bad for the mental health. And also attributing negative stereotyping experiences to external stigma rather than personal failure. Of course, focus on your success, not on your failure. And also using the serenity prayer to change what you can do, accept what you cannot, and try to tell the difference. So you should improve what you can, what you are capable of, and accept the things that you cannot do, because everything happens for a reason, sabi nga nila. Next is encouraging yourself and giving credit to your successes, and appreciate what is good about life, and be thankful and express to others what you really appreciate. So in work naman, invest in training and education to feel skilled and valued, organizing your workspace to be comfortable, and negotiating when possible to make work's demand less stressful, and participating with coworkers to add integrity and value to your work. Next is the emotional regulation or stress. You should meditate or relax. Practice meditation or relaxation, partaking of counseling to understand yourself better, using techniques like distress tolerance or self-soothing, taking prescriptions or medication for emotional or mood stress, and taking regular vacation regularly, asking for support when life gets stressful. Sa spiritual naman, always pray. Regular service activities that connect to your larger purpose, and practice your faith to God. So, as others, using non-Western healing approaches, moderating use of alcohol, recreation drugs, or cigarettes, recovering from life-threatening addictions or behavior.
Community health tends to focus on geographical areas rather than people with shared characteristics. The health characteristics of a community are often examined using GIS, or the Geographical Information System software, and public health datasets. So before we proceed, what is GIS? A GIS, or Geographical Information System, is a computer system for capturing, storing, checking, and displaying data. So anong role ni GIS sa atin o sa mga tao? The role of GIS is to give information or a data na ano yung dapat malaman natin. And especially we're facing COVID-19, the GIS is to give data kung ilan yung taong nabakunahan, ilan yung taong affected sa virus, ilan yung taong recoveries, so on and so forth. So, let's proceed to the given picture example. Those pictures example of GIS na nagbibigay ng impormasyon sa tao, ilang tao na yung recoveries natin dito sa Pilipinas, and if dumadami ba ang affected kada taon, buwan, weekly, or a day. So let's proceed to the primary healthcare. The primary healthcare, which refers to interventions that focus on the individual or family, such as hand washing, immunization, and circumcision. It is really important, those that I mentioned is really important right now because we're facing a COVID-19, which is if prone ka sa maduruming bagay and if hindi ka malinis sa mga gamit or sa iyong sarili, it can, kumbaga, pwede kang maapektuhan ng COVID-19 o pwede mong ikamatay. And why primary healthcare is really important in our country or on every individual? Primary healthcare addresses the health needs of all patients at the community level, integrating care, prevention, promotion, and education for everyone. Primary healthcare improves the performance of health system by lowering overall healthcare expenditure while improving population health and access. Health systems have played a part in the dramatic rise in life expectancy that occurred during the 20th century. They have contributed enormously to better health and influenced the lives of well-being of 1 billion of men, women, and children around the world. The role also has become increasingly more important. And we're going to secondary healthcare. Secondary healthcare refers to those activities which focus on environment, such as draining puddles of water near in the house and in your house, clearing bushes, and spraying insecticides to control vectors like mosquitoes. And why secondary healthcare is really important in our country. Secondary healthcare is the specialist treatment and support provided by the doctors and other health professionals for patients who have been referred to them for a specific expert care, most often provided in hospitals. We work in hospitals where the local system lack resources or provide adequate care. Secondary healthcare is important, is more important, is more specialized, and focuses on helping patients who are struggling with more severe and complex health conditions requiring the support of a specialist. Secondary care simply means you will be taken care of by someone who has more specific expertise about your condition.
The last broad categories is tertiary healthcare. So tertiary healthcare, on the other hand, refers to those interventions that take place in a hospital setting, such as intravenous, rehydration, or surgery. Tertiary care is a level of secondary healthcare that has been defined as highly specialized medical care that is usually provided over a long period of time and includes advanced and difficult diagnostic tests and treatment performed by medical specialists in state-of-the-art facilities. So as a result, tertiary care is defined as specialist care that provides diagnosis or treatment that is not available in primary or secondary care. Cardiac surgery, cancer
cancer therapy and management, burn treatment, plastic surgery, and other difficult treatments or procedures are examples of tertiary care services. So intravenous therapy is a treatment that infuses intravenous solutions. 80% of all patients in the hospital setting will receive intravenous therapy. Cholera can cause dehydration, which can be deadly if not properly treated with timely rehydration therapy. More than 99% of cholera patients will survive. That's why rehydration is the most important treatment of cholera. Rapid, high-volume rehydration will save lives. Surgery is an ancient medical specialty that investigates and or treats a pathological condition such as disease or damage using operative manual and instrumental procedures on a patient. A surgeon is someone who performs surgery, while a surgeon's assistant is someone who assists with surgery. Surgeon, surgeon's assistant, anesthesia provider, circulating nurse, and surgical technician make up a surgical team. Environmental health. So first, we should understand what is the environment is derived from the French word environ, which means circle. In simple words, we can say that everything which is around us is called environment. Also, it can be defined as all surroundings conditions that have direct impact on all human being and animals. Environmental health is the study of how the environment affects human health. It differs from the study of how humans affect the environment. It focuses on people's health, and environmental scientists might study how water pollution is hurting fish. Environmental health is not just about the health of the environment. It always comes back to you and whether the environment you are part of it and it is helping you to stay healthy or making you sick. So the purpose of environmental health is to create and maintain ecological conditions that will promote health and those prevent diseases. So one of the public health components is safe drinking water and sanitation. So the key to man's health lies largely in his environment. In fact, much of man's ill health can be traced to adverse environmental conditions such as water pollution, soil pollution, air pollution, poor housing condition, and presence of animal reservoirs and insect vectors of diseases. So environmental health is vitally important to total health and happiness because it powerfully impacts the influences the other components of health. And nowadays, COVID-19 has caused loss of life and economic hardship and all over the world. It has changed our habits and the way we live. While testing our public health systems and impacting on our livelihoods, in the face of this, the role of environmental health has never been more vital. So as we face up the ongoing challenges, this pandemic is posing and do everything possible to protect our communities and now and in the future. Environmental health is the branch of public health that is concerned with all aspects of natural and built environment that may affect human health. So the pandemic highlights the need for a comprehensive and integrated approach to human health, meaning enhancing environmental health through better air quality, water and sanitation, waste and management, along with efforts to safeguard biodiversity, will reduce the vulnerability of communities to pandemics and those improve overall societal well-being and resilience. So the environment in which we live is a major determinant of our health and well-being. So we depend on the environment for energy and the materials needed to sustain, such as life clean air, which is the main passage or transmission of the COVID-19 virus. People are encouraged and in many places required to wear masks and gloves to protect themselves and others from contacting the virus.
So environmental health is focused on the natural and built environments for the benefit of human health, whereas environmental protection is concerned with protecting the natural environment for the benefit of human health and the ecosystems. So as a human, We all know that environmental health is very crucial for us. As a result of, it helps to avoid varied chronic diseases that we obtain from the environment. So the environment in which we live is a major determinant of our health and well-being. Many aspects of our environment, both built and natural environment, can impact in our health. So it is important that we interpret health issues in the wider context of our environment and where we live. Environmental health addresses all the physical, chemical, and biological factors external to a person and all the related factors impacting behaviors. It is targeted towards preventing disease and creating health supportive environments. So, their primary role is to protect the health and safety of the general public from any harmful exposures that they may encounter. So, their job includes ensuring that people's homes and workplaces are safe, hygienic, and healthy. So, environmental pollutants can cause health problems like respiratory diseases, heart disease, and some types of cancer. Environmental health, whose role in the One Health concept is well established, has been associated with COVID-19 pandemic via various direct and indirect pathways. So, COVID-19 is a serious threat and continues to be a major focus of concern, but the global environmental health community also recognizes the persistent environmental threats which will still remain beyond the current pandemic. So, healthier environment could prevent almost 1/4 of the global burden of disease. The COVID-19 pandemic is a further reminder of the delicate relationship between people and our environment. Discipline. Environmental epidemiology studies the relationship between environmental exposures, including exposure to chemicals, radiation, microbiological agents, and etc., and human health. So, environmental epidemiology is one of the most important tools used in environmental management decision making, owing to its capacity to assess and monitor environmental hazards in different settings and quantify their health impact on the population at risk, and also identify environmental exposures of concern, implementing public health promotion to evidence-based approaches. So, in addition to evaluation program activities to further develop and improve effectiveness, for example, an RR of 1.4 for lung cancer after exposure to environmental tobacco smoke indicates that exposed persons are 40% more likely to develop lung cancer than are non-exposed persons. So the strength of association must often and be considered in relation to population at risk and intensity of the exposure. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought out synergies between infectious disease epidemiology and environmental health in a more robust way than perhaps since the great pandemics of the past 2 centuries, said John Bubbles, MD, Senior Advisor for Public Health. So the stated means that early studies shows that other environmental factors may also affect disease severity. So poor air quality appears to be associated with more severe health outcomes in infected individuals. So the situation also poses critical public health risk management and risk communication challenges.
Toxicology is defined as the study of how natural or man-made poisons causes undesirable effects on living organisms. And with that, it helps us avoid chemical injury or manage accidental exposure of humans or the environment. Toxicology has the advantage of being able to conduct randomized controlled trials and other experimental studies because they can use animal subjects. So, we are all exposed to a wide variety of chemicals, many of which have brought great benefits to society. And since we are about environmental health here and supposed to be related to the current pandemic, I will give an example that is also related to COVID-19 and toxicology. Accepting that medical toxicology has a role to play in an outbreak, we must also acknowledge that pandemics are not new. The first and most obvious function of medical toxicology in a pandemic is to recognize and manage the acute and chronic. The outbreak extensive attention has been paid appropriately chloroquine and hydrochloroquine toxicity. They also antiviral said that poisoning from agents with antiviral activity is a priority. In COVID-19, for example, when we are about to get our shots of vaccines, toxicology is very important for us to examine our own body. Research the process of making that vaccine that you are going to insert into your system, because there are possibilities that the chemical in it can trigger some disease or inborn illness you had because of vaccine side effects and such. Exposure science. Exposure science is a study of an organism, especially humans, contact with chemical, physical, and biological agents or other health risks occurring in their environments and advances knowledge of the mechanism and dynamics of events to either causing or preventing adverse health outcomes. So let's relate exposure science into COVID-19 vaccines. In the past, vaccines have been developed through a series of consecutive that can take many years. But given the urgent need for COVID-19 vaccines, unprecedented financial investment and scientific collaboration are changing how vaccines are developed. There are lots of developed vaccines and didn't last a year to be developed. So here's the important question. It is safe? Is it compatible with human bodies? The answer is based on the studies and clinical trials that the lab conducted. There is no 100% possibility that these vaccines don't have side effects, but surely it has positive effects that help us during the pandemic. Concerns: affected air quality, including both ambient outdoor air and indoor air quality, which also comprises concerns about environmental tobacco smoke. The coronavirus pandemic has changed the way we live, and several studies have documented how those widespread changes in human behavior have impacted the environment. NASA scientists and others using data from NASA and our partner satellites have shown that air pollution levels dropped significantly during COVID-19. A new NASA-funded study conducted by scientists at the George Washington University in Washington, D.C. Zoom in on the 15 largest metropolitan areas in the United States to see how the drop in air pollution differed from neighborhood to neighborhood. The paper was published on July 20 in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of the Sciences. Unusually low air pollution emissions caused by COVID-19's lockdown have provided atmospheric chemists with a unique dataset by studying what happens in the skies. They hope to gain insights into basic reactions that drive atmospheric chemistry. What they're learning will also provide guidance for policy makers who want to address climate changes and improve regional air quality. We knew changes in emissions would be big and worth studying, says by Jus D. Go, a chemist at the Cooperative Institute for Research in Environmental Science. The pandemic is strategy, of course, but the science we can do is important. Does climate change affect the transmission of coronavirus? We don't have direct evidence that climate change is influencing the spread of COVID-19, but we know that climate change alters how we relate to the other species on Earth, and that matters to our health and our risk for infection. As the planet heats up, big and small animals on the land and in the sea are headed to the poles to get out of the heat. That means animals are coming into contact with other animals they normally wouldn't, and that creates an opportunity for pathogens to get into a new host. Many of the root causes of climate change also increase the risk of pandemics. Deforestation, which occurs mostly for agricultural purposes, is the largest cause of habitat loss worldwide. Loss of habitat forces animals to migrate and potentially contact other animals or people and share germs. Large livestock farms can also serve as a source of spillover of infections from animals to people. Less demand for animal meat and more sustainable animal husbandry could decrease emerging infection disease risks and lower greenhouse gas effect emission. We have many reasons to take climate action to improve our health, and reducing risk for infectious diseases is one of them.
And now let us proceed to disaster preparedness and response. So in this time of pandemic, how can you be prepared for yourself and your family? Of course, what we're going to do is to follow the health and safety protocols. So practice everyday preventive actions as a family, like washing hands often with soap and water, or using hand sanitizer that contains at least 60% alcohol if soap and water are not available. Prepare for sheltering. Prepare for remote learning. Schools may be already offering remote learning during COVID-19, like what we do now. So prepare to continue or to change to learning from home. Next is food safety, including in agriculture, transportation, food processing, wholesale, and retail distribution and sale. So COVID-19 has imposed shocks on all segments of food supply chains, simultaneously affecting farm production and food processing, transport, and logistics, and final demand. Not all sectors and products have been equally affected, and different products have experienced disruptions at different stages of the supply chain. Next is hazardous materials management, including hazardous waste management, contaminated site remediation, the prevention of leaks from underground and storage tanks, and the prevention of hazardous materials releases to the environment and responses to emergency situation resulting from such releases. So hazardous waste can be treated by chemical, thermal, biological, and physical methods. Next is housing, including substandard housing abatement and the inspection of jails and prisons. So there are two other compelling reasons for providing healthcare in prisons. First is the importance of prison health to public health in general. And the second reason is society's commitment to social justice. Healthy societies have a strong sense of fair play. Next is childhood lead poisoning. So the lead poisoning prevention program at BPED encourages physicians to order a blood lead level test for children for the following important reasons. First is children and families are spending more time in their homes during the pandemic, increasing the risk of lead exposure from point and dust, the primary sources of lead poisoning. So, and the second one is many families and property owners in older homes are also using this time to initiate do-it-yourself home projects or renovations, further increasing the risk of lead exposure. Next is land use planning, including smart growth. So cities are the central point of technological and economic growth worldwide, right? So most of the people around the world live in cities. Pandemic is referred to as a new disease that spreads across the countries in the world. Few principles must be followed to create resilient urban planning and design, such as the following: transit supportive development and conservation of energy resources and enhancement of vibrant areas which will act as significant elements of suitable housing and community structure. Next is liquid waste disposal, including city wastewater treatment plants and on-site wastewater disposal systems, such as septic tank systems and chemical toilets. So there are 7 wastewater treatment process. Stage 1, bar screening. Stage 2, screening. Stage 3, primary clarifier. Stage 4, aeration. Stage 5, secondary clarifier. Stage 6, chlorination or disinfection. Stage 7, water analysis and testing. And Stage 8, effluent disposal. Next is medical waste management and disposal. Biomedical waste or hospital waste is any kind of waste containing infectious or potentially infectious materials. Interaction between waste adaptation and COVID-19 pandemic. One is recycling plant. Second is waste management. Third, garbage waste. Fourth, lockdown. Fifth, stay home. Sixth, rat infestation. And seventh, gloves and face mask. Next is noise pollution control. Noise pollution is considered to be the third most hazardous pollution after air and water pollution by the World Health Organization. Short as well as long-term exposure to noise pollution has several adverse effects on humans, ranging from psychiatric disorder. Exposure to noise pollution has several adverse effects on humans, ranging from psychiatric disorders such as anxiety, depression, hypertension, hormonal dysfunction, blood pressure rise leading to cardiovascular disease. So next is occupational health and industrial hygiene. So industrial hygiene, as stated above, is concerned with identifying, evaluating, and controlling real potential workplace environmental stressors or hazards that can affect the well-being of workers and community members. So it is sometimes called occupational hygiene, occupational health, or workplace health. Next is radiological health, including exposure to ionizing radiation from X-rays or radioactive isotopes. So radiation health affects ionizing radiation has sufficient energy to affect the atoms in living cells and thereby damage their genetic material. Fortunately, the cells in our bodies are extremely efficient at repairing this damage. However, if the damage is not repaired correctly, a cell may die or eventually become cancerous. Next is recreational water illness prevention, including from swimming pools, splash and ocean and freshwater bathing places. When swimming or taking part in water-related activities, you share the water and the germs with everyone. Recreational water illness are illnesses caused by germs and chemicals found in the water where we swim or participate in other water-related activities. So these illnesses are spread by swallowing or having contact with contaminated water. And the last one is safe drinking water. There is no universally accepted definition of safe drinking water. Safe drinking water is defined as the water that does not represent any significant risk to health over a lifetime of consumption. Water is a fundamental human need. Each person on earth requires at least 20 to 50 liters of clean, safe water a day for drinking, cooking, and simply keeping themselves clean.
Environmental health hazards. Antimony is a brittle silver-white metal that occurs in soil and rocks in certain parts of the world. It is not found very often or in large amounts. However, it can enter the environment during the mining or processing of its ore and in the production of antimony metal, alloys, and combinations of this metal with other substances. It is present in small amounts in air, food, and water, and is present in cigarettes. So, antimony is a chemical element with the symbol Sb and atomic number 51. A lustrous gray metalloid, it is found in nature mainly as a sulfide mineral stibnite. So, antimony compounds have been known since ancient times and were powdered for use as medicine and cosmetics, often known by the Arabic name Kohl, or spelling Kohl. Arsenic and mine tailings. So, mine tailings that contain arsenic are spread over large areas of land, including land now used for housing. Arsenic and mine tailings are naturally occurring chemical. It's found in crushed rock as a natural occurrence. It's commonly discovered near gold reserves and mined as part of gold and other mining operations. So mine tailings are the waste products left behind from mining operations. Arsenic is a prevalent element in nature and is often found in large quantities in gold mines in the western United States. So, arsenic may also be mobilized in aquatic situations when gold ores have been leached with cyanide resulting in a high pH in the water. So, next is asbestos. Asbestos is the name given to a group of naturally occurring rock minerals. The fibres are strong, heat-resistant, and have natural insulating properties. So, asbestos is a fibrous silicate material that occurs naturally. There are 6 different varieties, all of which are made up of long, thin, fibrous crystals with numerous tiny fibrils that can be released into the environment by abrasion and other processes. It comes in a variety of colors including green, red, yellow, white, and gray, and blue.
CCI Treated Timber, copper chrome arsenate. It is a chemical preservative used to treat timber to protect it from pests, infestation, and rotting. CCI treated timber was widely used in the home and the community, such as playground, decks, landscaping, fencing to posts, and power poles. Next, contaminated land is often a legacy of our industrial past when the community's awareness about the need to protect the environment was much lower than it is today. Contaminated land is that presents a hazard in the form of material that has the potential for harm. For example, a landfill site may contain contaminated land. Disease cluster sometimes is a greater than expected number case of a particular disease are found in community, raising concerns about a possible disease cluster. So, disease cluster is a communicable disease, which are disease that can be spread from one person to another. Example include colds, flu, whooping cough, chlamydia, and HIV. Next, gas heaters in fluid. In fluid, gas heaters can provide useful extra heat for your home in Victoria's cold climate. However, they may be risk to health when they are not used properly or not serviced regularly. So, gas heaters, when we are not used in properly, they have a chance to affect our health. Lead is a metal that was used for many years in paints and other products in and around our homes and can be toxic if ingested. When undertaking household tasks like renovating or painting, it is important to be mindful about preventing exposure to lead. So lead has been used in a wide variety of products including gasoline, paint, and etc. Mercury. When liquid mercury is spilled, it forms beads or droplets that can accumulate in cracks and small space or soak into fabrics. These droplets then vaporize at room temperature. So mercury vapors are invisible and odorless. Mercury is a metal that is toxic to living organisms. It exists in several forms.
Mold is a type of fungi that lives on plant and animal matter. Mold grows best in damp and poorly ventilated areas and reproduces by making spores. A mold is a fungus that grows in the form of multicellular filaments called hyphae. In contrast, fungi that can adopt a single-celled growth habit are called yeasts. In other words, molds are a form of fungus. There are many different types, and they can occur both indoors and outdoors. Molds produce spores which spread by floating around in the air. Mold spores are present in all indoor environments. Wood heaters. Smoke from wood heaters in open fireplaces can be a significant source of air pollution in Victoria during the autumn and winter months. This pollution can affect air quality and health. Moreover, smoke from wood-burning heaters can affect your health. Long-term exposure can cause heart and lung disease, while brief exposures can aggravate asthma or worsen pre-existing heart conditions. Use of a wood-burning heater will affect the air quality inside your home and the surrounding environment.
Wherever you live, your health is impacted by the environment. Around the world, more than 50 million people die every year from disease, and nearly 1/4 of those deaths are directly caused by environmental factors. Can you imagine? That's 1,400 deaths every hour of every day from an unhealthy environment. The hardest hit are those in low and middle income countries, especially in Africa, Southeast Asia, and the Western Pacific, and the young and old are most severely affected. More than half the world live in urban areas and can face heavy traffic, air pollution, poor housing, and limited access to clean water and sanitation. Many work in the informal sector under dangerous, dirty, and demeaning conditions. We all face the impact of chemicals and poisons, radiation, and poor farming practices. and climate change means a very uncertain future. So now we are at a crossroads. Things can continue getting worse, or we can work together to improve our world. Simple measures can be taken immediately to protect our health and the environment. We can reduce our consumption and clean our air by using sustainable fuels and walking or cycling more. We can safely store toxic substances in our homes and workplaces. We can protect our water resources by disposing of waste appropriately and introduce clean energy technologies. We can bring multiple government sectors together to ensure all policies actively support health. Let us all work together to improve our health and well-being.